Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this very powerful session today with the Ladies Study Group in Kolkata. And I am using the word powerful to describe my four speakers today with a deep sense of responsibility for this word, as I truly believe that the Urban Dictionary would use the very same word as a synonym for each one of my four speakers today, as each one is a leader and an icon and is at the very top of their game. And I'm going to now ask them all to join me on screen, please. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. And I want to
Hi, good
firstly,
evening.
good evening. Good evening. I think Shekhar ji must be joining us soon. But while we wait for him, let's start straight away because I know how busy each and every one of you are. And I fully appreciate how difficult it is for you to take out this time for us. And we are very grateful for that. And while we normally have a woefully low statistic of female representation in Indian politics, we have definitely broken that trend today on this screen with a huge margin. But since Shekhar ji is not yet with us, I'm going to start by introducing my four panelists. So, Ms. Supriya ji, welcome to Ladies Study Group. And thank you
Thank you.
once again for your time. We missed you the last time round, and we're so glad that we have this opportunity to be with you. So,
Thank you
Priyaji
for
is
inviting me.
yes. So, Priyaji is an extremely experienced parliamentarian and has been a member of the Rajya Sabha and is a three-time elected member of the Lok Sabha from the Nationalist Congress Party, the NCP. She is the daughter of veteran politician and the president of the NCP, Sri Sharad Pawarji. She is known for her eloquence and her ability to win political debates, and we look forward to hearing you today. Ms. Sushmita Devji, welcome to Ladies Study Group.
Thank you.
Sushmita ji is currently the president of the All India Mahila Congress and is the national spokesperson for the AICC and is the former member of parliament from Silchar, Assam. Her father was the veteran Congress leader Santosh Mohan Devji. Sushmita ji is very focused on ushering in an era of progress and development for children and is vocal about government policies and feels that they need to be far more effective rather than just examples of tokenism. Ms. Priyanka Chaturvedi ji, welcome to Ladies Study Group.
Thank you so much, dear.
Priyanka,
Just really looking forward to this conversation.
yes. Priyanka ji is a Rajya Sabha Member of Parliament and the Deputy Leader and spokesperson of the Shiv Sena. She is known for her ability to communicate her strong views on women's empowerment and safety, and we often see her debating her point on national television. She has been working hard to make the long pending Women's Reservation Bill come into force. Interestingly, she has lived in Kolkata prior to her move to Mumbai to join politics. So we have so many questions and there is so much to discuss. And while we wait for Shekhar ji, I thought we could start straight away. And I wanted to ask each one of you, what is the life of a woman in democracy, a woman in politics in today's times when we are dealing with the coronavirus crisis? So Supriya ji, can we start with you?
Oh, with me?
Yes.
Well, I think, I'm not sure, but I know Sushmita and Priyanka very well. And I think it's an essence that we all agree with that I don't think either one of us are trapped in the gender issue, to be honest. I mean, I don't look at Priyanka or Sushmita as my female colleagues or as women parliamentarians. I mean, they're, if not smarter than most of my colleagues. I don't want to get into the gender trap. So I think in a democracy, we need good leaders, and Priyanka and Sushmita have been exceptionally good performers in whatever they do. So I really feel to get trapped into this gender business would actually do injustice to Priyanka and Sushmita if you put them in
True.
that box. So I think democracy is about equality, and I don't think these two panelists of mine fit in that gender gap at all.
Correct. Correct.
And I think we're all human beings, you know. So the way you're dealing, Dia, with the pandemic, so are Sushmita, Priyanka, and me.
Yes,
You know that
absolutely.
sometimes I get amused when people think, oh, you politicians. I mean, we haven't fallen from some Jupiter or Mars or something, you know. We are also people, we represent
Yes,
you.
absolutely.
So we are actually
Absolutely.
one of you. Yeah. So I
Yes.
think that's where I think I would come from. I think Mr.
Welcome,
Gupta has joined
Shekharji.
us.
I think, yes, 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 he's here. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. I'm sorry about this, but although I'm smiling because all of you are also smiling, so we must always keep the smile on our faces. It's just that just as we were starting, we heard that one of our very close friends, who all of you know, but I shall not mention the name now, one of our very close friends that all of us adore, has been in the on ventilator for the past several days. His condition just took a turn for the worse. So his wife had just called, and I was trying to make it
Who would
basically
that be?
Oh,
I'll tell you later. Make an assessment of the situation. So that was just
Oh
took me
God.
away
Oh.
very comfortably. But
We respect that. Yes.
that's how the situation is. All of us have family, friends, etc. So I thought some of our conversation also will focus around that because people like us
Absolutely.
have families, colleagues, teams, uh, friends, but you have constituencies, you have lots of other people, there are expectations. So, to that extent, the challenge of handling this is much greater.
Yes.
And so, where does family, where do friends come in? Where does public life come in? So, you are a unique generation of young politicians, young women politicians, who are having to deal with this challenge. And shall we talk about this a little bit? Who
Yes, of
wants to
course, sir.
who
So I'm
wants to
going to
come up?
leave the screen and just leave it to you to take it forward from here.
All right. So shall I pause or okay? So who wants to speak first? And I know that there'll be many similar experiences, but we'll try and bring nuances out of that.
I think because Supriya and Sushmita have been, handling constituencies, they'd be better able to address this. I can only give an overview as someone in the upper house.
Uh,
Yeah. Go ahead,
Sushmita,
Priyanka, you can start.
So,
I think Supriya, you
Shekhar,
start because I couldn't hear the question properly. Then I'll get a clue.
okay, I will repeat for you. The question was that while
Okay.
people like us might have families, friends, colleagues, teams. All of you also have constituents. You deal with people at a much wider level. So pressure of expectation is much greater. So how do you deal with that? And Priyanka said that the two of you, that is Supriya and you, Sushmita, you have constituencies to handle. So you deal with it more directly. So I'd rather that Priyanka, since you started, you talk a bit because I know that you are also dealing with a lot of a constituency doesn't just mean an electoral constituency, right? All of Maharashtra is your constituency now. So talk and then we'll carry on from there.
so as far as Maharashtra
So
was concerned,
should I?
we did see an entire second wave which hit us hard, just like wave. Sanitization kits and understanding of keeping your areas clean, etc., and being able to control that faster. So if in case I couldn't step in to address the ration issue, there could be someone else who would be able to deal with it. The second wave has been totally different. And Maharashtra, thankfully, I would say, because we saw a high caseload in the first wave, we didn't see a lot of requests coming in for oxygen beds or ICUs, but we did see a need for remdesivir and medicines like tocilizumab, etc., where we were facing a shortage. So that was where while dealing with my own son who tested COVID positive, and some family members also, close distant family members also were suffering through that, we managed to also address these concerns. But Delhi, the way it exploded and the way we were getting these calls on social media and requests through social media, while sitting in Mumbai, I tried to do whatever I could in terms of oxygen beds, ventilators, remdesivirs, oxygen cylinders. So it was quite tragic to watch. We're seeing lesser numbers now, but I believe a lot is happening in rural constituencies which we aren't aware of in terms of how they are coping and how they're managing. So it does get
So how do you manage?
stressful, and it
How
does
do
get
you
mental taxing.
how do you manage your own life in that situation? Okay, Sushmita, why don't you come in?
See, there's a saying that the toughest profession in the world is being a doctor or a lawyer, because people only come to you when they're in trouble. And I think there's a third calling, which is politics. You know, people, when they absolutely don't believe, when they believe that the system is not working for them and the right and proper channels are not working for them, that's when someone approaches their MP or their MLA or any public representative in their constituency. So we are constantly dealing with
Ask them to work
people
out
who
on
are
it.
under
Ask
tremendous
Suresh.
pressure, who have expectations of us. It doesn't matter whether you're in the upper house, whether you are in Lok Sabha, whether you hold an organizational position. So it's not easy. And I think I'll have to say that we have to admit that it's not possible for us to deliver all the time. It's just humanly not possible. But I think personally, from where I'm coming, what I try to do is I try to do my best. And if I can't get them a bed or an oxygen or the solution they want in that particular situation, I try and explain to them why I haven't been able to do it. It's not easy, because it's not nice to hear your constituent being disappointed with your effort, or just disappointed that it didn't happen, maybe not disappointed with you. And especially in this pandemic, it's tested us all in different ways, whether it's journalists, whether it's politicians, whether it's doctors, frontline workers. And I have to say that it's made it's made me stronger, no doubt. But I've also had to grow a very thick skin because of the kind of um, fatality I've had to deal with, the kind of many times I've had to let people down because some things have just been beyond my control. It's not been an easy time, but I thank God that I am still in a position where I am a public representative, and even if I help 5 out of the 10 people who call me, I feel blessed, and I'll keep trying. That's what I'd say.
Supriya, you have a constituency. You are part of a government in the state. You have your role nationally, and you have a family.
It's been one of the most challenging times of my life. And I mean, I'm not alone in it, obviously. And I think it's the distress calls that are, I mean, every time the phone rings at night, I'm almost jumping out of my bed. And because it's clearly probably some bad news coming. And the distress calls for me, like Priyanka said, I think we went through, was when somebody would call you and say, we need oxygen because we only have 2 hours of oxygen left and we have 32 people dependent on it and patients, please do something. I mean, what do you do at such times? So it's really, really hard. And I think, it happens. I mean, it's really like Sushmita says, it's one of the most difficult things we've all been through. I'll give you an example about Rajasthan. A very dear college friend of mine, his wife went to Rajasthan to see her mother and got stuck in the lockdown. She got COVID and she died. And then her husband went there and got COVID. Now, fortunately, I had the access of calling, two people there. I called Mr. Pilot, I called Mr. Gehlot's office, I called even Dushant Singh, and they sort of managed. We couldn't save his wife, but my college friend has got help. But I mean, really, between Sushmita, Priyanka, and me, can we save everybody or help everybody? We can't. I mean, so many calls probably are going unanswered. We get WhatsApp, we get tweets, we get everything. And it's I think humanly not possible for anybody. But I must admit one thing, and I hate to say this, but I think through our systems, with all the technology in the world, I feel we have let down our people.
You will let down our.
We have let down our people. I mean, 2 months ago, we were all in parliament saying universal vaccination. This is not about them versus us. This is not a political time. This is time only about humanity. We should go out of our way and help as many people as we can with all the contacts, all the friend circle, all the infrastructure that we have across state-wise. And we've had such difficult.
I'm losing you. I think we've lost your voice. Can you hear? Can you hear?
No, I can't. I
hear you.
can't hear her either.
Now you can.
Now you're okay.
Yeah.
Now you're okay.
Yeah, so it's really hard, and then we have to work across states with each other. We have to support each other. I mean, this is not time to say about your state and my state and vaccine is made here and oxygen is made there. No, we all have to operate pan India and support each other in whatever best practices we have, share information, and be absolutely transparent about everything that we are doing. And we are all on the same side. I think what I feel terrible is we are only against the virus. Here, the position sometimes people are taking, just completely disappointing. And here we don't have time to do that, and we should not waste any of our time. That here we should all help, stretch ourselves as much as we can, and help each other. And sometimes you feel helpless. So I feel it's very, very sad.
So there is one thing that a lot of you are doing, a lot of you as in a lot of the politicians, particularly young politicians, men as well as women, that is to organize voluntary action. Now the latest example is Youth Congress chief Srinivas. He was actually on my weekly show Off the Cuff last week, which was watched a great deal. And there are others who are doing it. For the BJP, Gautam Gambhir is doing it in Delhi, and I'm sure other people are doing it in other states. Do you think how useful do you think is this, and do you think that do you wish that more politicians were doing it?
Should I go first?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
No, absolutely. I think what many of those not elected representatives, but those who have wanted to help people, were one of the most useful ways to be able to ensure that help is reached. They were on ground, they were helping 24/7, 365. They became a huge support system for even people like me who are sitting in Mumbai and want to help someone in Uttar Pradesh. And I will go beyond political boundaries. So in Uttar Pradesh, I have some people who are working in the Bharatiya Janata Party. But for me, lives at that particular point in time was important. Saving somebody was important. Ensure not figuring out who am I speaking to. So yes, I think rather than gunning for them, or rather than trying to find out where are they getting this remdesivir from or oxygen from, we have to look at the larger benefit that they have provided to the society, especially when an entire system collapsed. In cities like Delhi, we are seeing some parts of Uttar Pradesh also. Some parts could have been in other states too. I'm not making it state specific, but we need to ensure that those who are doing good work are acknowledged, not hounded.
Supriya, you pick up the
I
thread
think,
now.
this is, no, I think what Priyanka is saying is absolutely right. This is not time about states. I mean, I think we are all helping each other. We all also hold on to each other, So this is not time for any, it's a very difficult time. Each one wants to support their own people around themselves. So I don't blame somebody doing something wrong. Like, I know, somebody got some medication which was not legally brought into our state, and it became a big controversy. Now, whole point is, I'm sure the intent was very good, the route was wrong. So, but this is not time to do that. This time is to just stretch yourself out. And I think what we really need to bring on record is the way the administration has worked. And I can purely tell you about our administration, which is the city, I mean, in the state that I work all the time in. Our administration, of course, political workers have to work. I mean, that's why you are in politics. This is about service. So, I mean, NGOs are working, but the Maharashtra administration has overstretched. I don't think my collector sleeps more than 3 hours a night. Even in vaccinations, I saw a story, people saying that, oh, how will rural area get vaccinations? They don't even get OTP numbers. Jilla Parishads, which is such a wonderful, strong system, has delivered superior results in Maharashtra. So all the administration, which otherwise people saying, "Arey, ye to babu kaam nahi karte," you have no idea what wonderful things they have done. Right from my Anganwadi Sevika to my Sarpanch who works with her, they're all, I mean, they're just amazing. They never say no to you. They never not answer your call. So I think we have is gratitude in our mind that how much the administration is doing. Doesn't matter who's in power. The collector doesn't worry about who's in power. He's just delivering, 24/7. So I
Sushmita,
think it's everybody's playing.
Sushmita, is that your sense also, particularly in your state?
See, in Assam, because Northeast is a little cut off from the mainland, so the extent and the intensity of the wave uh, is timed a little later than maybe Delhi or Bangalore or Maharashtra. But having said that, there's no way we are going to escape it. And I think the intensity of the second wave is hitting us just about now. And if I may say so, this is not politics, but I think it's a well accepted thing that the infrastructure and the medical facilities that any northeastern state has compared to Delhi, Bangalore, or Bombay, or Pune for that matter, there is no comparison. We may be less populated states, but still the challenge is going to be huge for us. And I think what Supriya said is very important, that, and as you people have been covering throughout, that the bigger challenge of the second wave is really how it's going to hit the rural. Before it was, we were very focused and wondering what to do with the bigger cities. गांव के लोग बोलते तो शहर की बीमारी है. Now it's reached the rural. So
But how do you
sorry,
how responsive do you find your district administration or local, say, panchayat, Zilla Parishad, or the equivalent that you have in Assam? Because you mentioned Delhi, Bangalore, Pune, Mumbai. The fact is that with all their facilities, those.
See, I'll tell you, in a health emergency or in any kind of emergency, any public administration anywhere in the country would come under pressure. So, for instance, when I spoke to my collector to say, look, it's coming to us, what is it we can do to help you? This is not about who's in the treasury bench and who's in the opposition. The first thing she said is, even if we have oxygen supply, we don't have enough oxygen cylinders, and we don't know how to come up with it now. So I'm just saying, it is not in a manner of criticism, but to say that I wish we had anticipated this and at least done what we could have. I'm not saying we could have anticipated everything. Let's not be unrealistic. The scale of this thing actually shook the entire world. We saw Italy and Spain and the UK go into another lockdown. So, but being realistically, there's some things we could have prepared for. And in Assam, I think hospital beds are going to be a much bigger crisis. Officers are responding very well. Like Supriya said, in Maharashtra and Assam, I have no complaints from the officers at all. I mean, they're nothing short of an army which is on the front line, because the entire system depends on them. And this is not the time to demoralize them. We have to make sure they stay motivated. We have to make sure they're performing at their best with lack of sleep and rest, which is bound to happen to them. But I feel logistically, we could have prepared better. Yes, I know that we are getting help from Bhutan. Oxygen is coming into Assam and all of that. But like I said, things like oxygen cylinders are a problem in my district, and we are calling on different resources to help. Let's hope it works. But answering your question, I have no complaints from the officers. I think they're doing their best in this emergency situation.
Has there been any time in these now 13 months
I
of
think our
crisis, or
host
14 months,
has got disconnected.
No, I can hear.
uh,
I can hear.
can you hear me now?
I
Also,
can
maybe
hear
it's
you.
my internet connection. Ah, sorry.
Yeah.
So
Shekhar.
has there been? It's now been 14 months of this crisis. Has there been any period in these 14 months that any of you wished, why am I in public life?
I
No.
mean,
I
so
could be
I'm
doing something else. I could be running a company. I could be doing anything else.
I wouldn't want to be anywhere
Sup-
else, I think.
Supriya,
No, I'll tell you what it is. A lot of people told us that, oh, what a time Mahavikas Agadi, y'all fought and y'all came to power, and look what kind of power y'all have come to. All y'all are doing is this work. I look at it completely. I mean, I agree with Priyanka and Sushmita. I don't think we could have been in power at a better time for the reason that this is really the gratitude that this is the time, in a time of crisis, if you can't be there for your people, then when are you going to be there? So I think we feel blessed, and I think uh, I would like to, and there are 2 points which I would like to put on the table, and these are not political at all. And I'm not taking credit to Mahavikas Agadi. I will give it to the officers. I mean, we are doing what we can, but I would like to put it on table that with our administration, which is doing such a wonderful job, I'm so happy that Mr. Chehel is getting the kind of recognition that he is, because a city like Mumbai, which has almost become like a global example. I mean, I feel so proud that we are part of a system, and what we
well,
have done is, yeah, go ahead.
also your DM in Nandurbar. Uh,
Oh, absolutely. He's doing
Yeah.
an
he's been talked
amazing
about.
job. Yeah, Dhule, Nandurbar, all, I mean, there are so many success stories that you feel so proud of all these people. And that's why I repeat myself and say that this is the same administration the whole world says, "Arey, kuch kaam hi nahi karte." No, they just are superstars. I mean, I'm so amused. I always tease Mr. Chahal that today you're more popular than Mr. Modi is in this country and globally. There, everybody is writing well about you.
Yes, I mean, don't say that, you will get him into trouble.
No, I
No, I don't
respect
think
him
so. He'll
so
get
much.
into
I was gonna
trouble.
say that.
No, he's delivered. He's genuinely
I know.
delivered. What
No,
I
no, no,
meant
no.
was that the
But
scaling for
you know how politics is these days now. I think you should wrap him in cotton wool for some time.
no,
Sushmita,
he's a toughie. He's
I know. He's from my university. He better be tough. Uh, Sushmita, have you had any moment when you said, "Am I in the right place?"
Shekhar, I know why you're asking this, but the only time I felt it is when I had to campaign in the crowds during the Assam election. That do I have to be here? Because I was so scared because Corona had just started picking up. But when it comes to serving or helping people, I don't think there's ever been a moment in my life when I felt like that. But I'll have to say one thing, that the resilience this country has shown and the kind of good work non-political people have shown, I think that really stood out. And I think we are in public life, it's our profession, we win elections, we exert power, but people who are not in that position and actually are not accountable for performing under these circumstances have performed. And I think that's what stands out. And coming back to your question, that everybody is in a difficult position and everybody is helping no matter what position they are in. So we are all in it together, and we all have to come out of it together. There's no other way of doing this.
Yeah, in fact, look at doctors, nurses, technicians. I think of these really low-paid technicians who go and take these samples because they are actually potentially playing with live virus all the time.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So, does it leave any sort of? Is it a moment of epiphany where you say that, look, in public life something will change now? So, say for example, public health will now become an issue it never was and probably should have been.
Clearly, I think what first big change that has happened in my mind is the idea of superstar and glamour has completely changed. I mean, there was a time for us, glamour and superstardom came purely with the film industry. I think truly the real superstars are all our frontline workers, the administration. I mean, I'm in awe. Look at the police. I mean, you're just in awe of them every time you see each one of them. And even including the guy who comes on Amazon, you are not stepping out of your house to get something, but he is risking his life on his little bike, carrying tons and tons of thing on his back and coming because you want a luxury item, which you can easily wait for. So I think it's completely changed the perspective of our lives. And I think politics will change. And I hope we learn from all this. And I mean, if we don't learn from this, then shame on us. And it's not about them versus us. I think we as society need to evolve and, learn to do a few things better and put all our good minds to it, talent to it, to make sure our country, I mean, does better for all these situations. And I'm not saying just us. I mean, it's a pandemic, it's a global issue. I understand that. But I think we need to put health as a big priority for all of us and work together to come up with a good policy for health in the future and take all our stakeholders in it, and it's to be equal, yaar. I mean, I sometimes feel like देश में गरीब का कोई है ही नहीं. It's just heartbreaking.
Supriya?
Yeah, Supriya just spoke.
Sorry, Supriya. Sorry, Priyanka. Sorry.
No worries. Yes, I totally agree with what Supriya is saying. We are the ones who are expected to deliver, but there are lots of people who have delivered in the times of pandemic. And I can't stop quoting this book enough after I've read it, Chinmay Tumbe's book, The Age of Pandemic, which has said that between 1916 to 1918, when India was infected by influenza and plague, that is the time when we saw politics change, economic scenario change, demography change. So I'm really hopeful that this particular plague, this particular pandemic would make us change our mindset as to how we talk about deliverance. How do we talk about accountability? Who do we hold accountable? What are the systems we are putting in place? And not just in urban centers. Our stories are coming from urban cities. Our stories are not coming from rural centers. It is those who are working on ground, those reporters working on ground, who are bringing us the truth. What we see happening on television debates is not what is happening in rural areas. So I'm hoping that everyone collectively as a nation, once we are over the entire pandemic and we have vaccinated enough of our population, we will start discussing issues that matter and do away with all the kind of negativity that we have been seeing in terms of us versus them. Because every time we write a letter which is about giving our feedback, considering there's an Indian Epidemic Act, we give our feedback and we only get political responses. If we could do away with that, we'd be able to rise above this challenge faster.
Well, all I can tell you is if you want to know about what's happening in rural India, please read the print.in. And that's not because I'm doing anything. I'm staying safe in Delhi. That's because we have a lot of brilliant young people who are unmindful of all the risks and also lack of comfort because it's for city-bred young people, it's not easy to get around, particularly now when most things are shut. And they are bringing us really touching and the most heart-rending stories from across the country. So please uh, read the print. But still, I wish we had somebody from the BJP on this panel. That would have made it more sort of a bipartisan panel. But Sushmita, you see this changing India's politics going ahead?
See, it definitely will. I'll tell you why. Is because Supriya said, "Garib ka koi nahi hai." But what the pandemic has shown us that the richest of the rich were also sitting on the pavement waiting for a bit. And poor people, what happened to them is we know what happened. And since it's a ladies studies group that has organized this, I want to say that as a Mahila Congress president, whenever we've done any kind of a ground survey about what are the key issues that play on a woman's mind, one of the key issues always been health. Children's education, yes. Security, yes. And I think what rural women have always emphasized is lack of health facilities. I mean, you're talking about Assam. Doesn't matter that Congress was in power for 15 years and BJP is in its second term. I mean, and uh, the fact is that a rural public health center doesn't even have a doctor on a full-time basis. So, I mean, we have to change this. So the question is that, there's no one from the BJP here, so I'm not going to talk about the central vista, but I'm just going to say that when we prepare a budget, we got to tell the world that we understood what happened to India and we are not going to let it happen again as a collective. And if we don't do that, I don't think history will ever forgive us. Doesn't matter which party is in power. As a collective, we have to change this. We can't let this happen to our country again. If there, God forbid, is another health emergency.
Priyanka, if I may come to you, out of the three of these, you are the newest to politics, right? These two have grown up with politics. I can say that these two are people whose parents I've known for a long time. In fact, I've known Sushmita's dad for even longer than I've known Supriya, because I've known him since 1981 when I went to cover the Northeast. Uh, and I might be the only national journalist who have traveled with him in his constituency. Uh, but for you, is it Sir Mudate Ule Pade?
No, no, I don't think I'd look at it that way. I like Supriya was saying, when Vikas Agadi came about, we keep hearing this over time to be a part of the government. I think there would have been no better time for me to be able to help and reach out wherever I can, in whatever capacity I can, in whatever way I can. It could be small. It could just be, marking a single small tweet about saving 9 lives of children to Dipinder Hooda ji or Naveen Jindal ji, and getting them to get into action mode. I think that in itself is quite a little bit satisfying compared to my contribution in terms of politics and me having entered the political space or the Rajya Sabha. So I think there was no better time than this to be able to perform and to be able to ensure that lots of voices that were going unheard could be heard. So I'm totally what Supriya was speaking about. Mahavikas Agadi was at the right place at the right time, being able to ensure that people are not inconvenienced. We are trying to do that in a small little way.
But there's also an interesting phenomenon in this that a lot of people are angry that government is not doing anything. When people are in trouble, when children are in trouble, they blame the parents, right? So when people are in trouble, they blame the government, rightly or wrongly. That doesn't matter. But the important thing is that in this case, we haven't seen that individual targeting of politicians that, for example, we saw during the anti-corruption movement, 2009, 10, 11. So how has that difference come about? Supriya, as among the most experienced.
No, I don't think. I think people still are angry. I see a lot of pain um amongst people. I don't think it's not about individual targeting. I think you're talking about a certain era of time. I think UPA was people were angry with UPA. So maybe there were individuals, but they were angry with UP as such. So today, I didn't want to say this actually, but today people are angry with the central government and they do realize that the reason is that there are times where we could have sorted things out amongst ourselves. And because of the pandemic crack, things have gone a bit of an imbalance. And it's not about bullying. I mean, yesterday, our health minister of Maharashtra has appealed to government of India that instead of every state, every municipal corporation pulling and pushing for vaccinations, why don't you get a complete order for the country, divided equally, and let's move on because it's becoming otherwise very chaotic, which we don't want to be in any mess. I mean, I'll give you another example of Mumbai again. Mumbai bought Remdesivir at one time, little higher price, and there were allegations made that क्यों आप लोग ले रहे? And then it was bought, but let me tell you, Mumbai that time needed the supply, and now all states are buying it even more expensive. It wasn't a corrupt charge. It was just because you wanted it that quickly that was paid. So I think this is not right. This time is not about you, me, tu, me. This is about delivering your best of your health to every citizen, and we owe it. Yeah, I mean, why would I not help a friend in Rajasthan? I mean, they're our people. We should all help each other everywhere we can. And my
So let me
heart breaks to see everything that, I mean, I can see Sushmita struggling with it. I can even sense it from here how much she's struggling with it. And we see this with all our colleagues, all our friends. It's a very, very challenging time, but you have to keep your chin up and lead from the front. There is no time to break down and cry. No, you can't, because we are here to support people and give them strength.
So I know that we just have a couple of minutes left, but let me ask you two concluding questions each. In fact, it's the same question, but two aspects to it, two sides of the same coin. Each one of you tell me in these crisis months, the most memorable or most touching or the most enduring thing that somebody outside of your family, somebody who you interact with in public life, maybe an ordinary citizen or voter said to you, or something that a family member said to you. So each one of you. Uh,
A family member said to you and an outsider said to you in this
and an
1 year.
outsider. Yeah. So, Supriya, you
One
first.
memorable. Oh my God, I'm really getting bullied. Everything first. I
Because you
think
think fast. No? Yeah.
I don't. I think the most memorable thing for me is, my brother and my relationship is I've always looked at him as an elder brother who is a crisis manager. So even if there's a crisis, he's known as one of the best administrators. So he will fix it. Chalo, chalo. Every Friday there's a COVID meeting and we will correct it. And there was a meeting every Friday, which is a district meeting. It's not a state meeting. State meetings happen during the week. And Friday at 10 o'clock, we have a district meeting where all the local MLAs and MPs come. And Ajit Pawar, being the district minister, he's in charge. And I was sitting and he said, Supriya, for the first time, I feel helpless. I said, what happened? He says, we are really short of oxygen. I don't know what we are going to do. And if so many people, the oxygen doesn't reach in time and so many people die, I don't know how we will even be able to forgive ourselves to it. And I think all our willpower was on the right side. Fortunately, we swung some. We're grateful to somebody in Gujarat who helped us. We got that oxygen. We were saved. But I don't think I could. I mean, what happened in Goa? I cannot forgive myself for it. Could we have given them oxygen? I mean, I'm not blaming anybody in Goa or the health minister or whatever. This is not time to do that. Could Maharashtra help Goa? What could have I done as a citizen or as a human being? Yeah, how can you let just 50 people die like this with no oxygen? Come on, how can you forgive yourself? So I think that's one thing. And I think what an outsider has said is when you get those little WhatsApp notes, when somebody gets a bed and they get discharged, and that little note that you get, that thank you for your timely intervention, my father is discharged or my mother is discharged. Oh my God, I think it's more happiness than winning an election, because this is really why we are here for. So I
That's
think that
fantastic.
little note is just fantastic when they send you that they're discharged and they're home. I
That's
think it's a
fantastic.
great sense of feeling.
Sushmita, you've had a couple of minutes to prepare now.
No, I've got more confused anyway, but there's so many thoughts coming to my mind. But I think on a personal note, I don't know whether I should say it because there have been so many downsides to the lockdown. But I think what's common between all three of us here are that we all three have very busy lives because of politics. So in the first lockdown, the most uh, endearing part was that we were locked in our homes, and sometimes we get absolutely no time for our family, being in politics. So it brought us together, and it was a kind of a pause, which was different for us. But I don't say it was a great moment because we saw thousands of people and lakhs of people walking back to villages. And I think my mom was happy to see me at home. I think that was the endearing part. And I think the best thing I have heard from a constituent is when there was a lot of people migrating and trying to get home without food, without salaries, locked in chawls, factories had shut down. So every time someone reached home, when they called to say we are home, I can't tell you how relieved this to sound,
Yeah.
Shekharji. It was like they may be going home to just one meal a day. I mean, I don't know,
Yeah.
but it was at that point. This time, oxygen is a big issue. At that time, it was someone going back home felt like oxygen to them. So every time someone called me to say, "Madam, hum ghar pahunch gaye," I think that was a moment that gave me a lot of satisfaction.
Fantastic. And Priyanka?
So my son always keeps telling me that I think very emotionally. I talk from my heart. I don't use my mind at times. I don't use logic at times when I'm facing these kind of crises. So I do remember, and I break down also very often, which I don't like admitting. So my son had once, when this entire I got to know about 9 could be, at risk when there was oxygen supply which was ending. I broke down, and I'll be very honest. And that's when my son came to me and he said, "Listen, you are doing the best you can, and I think you should at least relax and not feel guilty about everything that you aren't able to do." Thankfully, I was able to do that. So that in itself was something coming from home, and my own son admitting that sometimes emotions are good enough, and for you to use those emotions for positive change is good enough. And obviously, what Supriya and both Sushmita said, those messages that you get, that you manage to organize a bed in another city, and that person has managed.
I think we are having a little audio trouble, are we? I think there is an audio trouble, Priyanka, for a minute. I think.
Yes, I
Can we take a pause and you want to repeat what you said, because I don't think we heard it.
Talking sad that they could recover and come back home safe. Something which I think is an acknowledgement. I also say a little prayer every time I see someone I try to help could not make it through. It just gets me very emotional. And when my own family members, sometimes they when they tell me that you get too emotional and you stop using your mind, but I still think it leads towards positive change, and an acknowledgement coming from the family matters a lot when they all sat down and told me that what you're doing is the best you can. There's nothing much you can do. So those are moments which I treasure, and I think the moment which I think Sushmita said, that where she could spend more time with her mother, I can say my daughter would have exactly the same sentiment. She was just 2 when I used to travel a lot, and for her to see me for such a long while, she now gets annoyed at seeing me around all the time.
Well, I think it's been a marvelous conversation, and the good thing about these conversations is that you have to conclude them because time is running out. When they are, whenever you want to conclude them, looks like now it's getting really interesting. But that's also the success of a panel and a conversation. Thank you very much. You've been marvelous panelists.
Thank you.
I will now hand over to Diya Jaiswal, who will, I think, take some audience questions. But before that, I have to say something to your audience also. Diya, with your permission, which is that
Yes,
all of you are
of course.
smart people with great hearts and great minds. I will not say you are wealthy people, which you are, but I'll say you are people also with great hearts and great minds. You must also put value to good journalism. I know that all of you watch some channels for entertainment at night that describe themselves as news channels. Plus, there's a lot else going on that is distorting India's democracy. So everybody has a stake now in good journalism. Good journalism can only survive and prosper if people pay for it. This idea that you should get your journalism for free simply doesn't work. You pay for one cup of whatever coffee you like to drink at barista or wherever. You pay for everything else. You pay for a movie, popcorn. You should pay for your journalism. So please do subscribe to the print. Dia promised me she'll share our subscription links with all of you.
Absolutely.
It costs
Absolutely.
very little money, but it adds value to all our lives and our democracy. So thank you very much, Dia. Please take over now.
Yes, Shekharji. Thank you for that. We were going to anyway share it with everybody. And but I did want to ask you, because a lot of my members have asked me already this question, that you are in the digital medium, but your name is the print. So how has that happened?
So I have to tell you this story that somebody on our panel will be surprised to know. So this happened when we had there was a big function to celebrate Sharad Pawarji's 75th birthday at Vigyan Bhavan in Delhi.
Okay.
So I was seated next to MJ Akbar in the audience, in the same row in Vigyan Bhavan. So as we started chatting, I said on my way up, I read an article by so and so who made a certain political projection based on the fact that this birthday function was taking place in which everybody from Sonia Gandhi to Narendra Modi to Pranab Mukherjee was participating. And I said, this is somebody who's a very experienced editor who knows that Sharad Pawar himself has goodwill. At any point of time, everybody will come for his 75th birthday. So you should not overinterpret it. But how can somebody so smart do it? So MG Akbar said to me, that's because when you guys go from print to digital, you lower the bar and you think digital mein jo marzi chhapta hai. So on the way back, I thought, all right, we'll use digital as a medium, but we'll keep the bar at the same level where we kept in the print. And that's how the print came. So
How
That's
That's an
sweet.
interesting, lovely story.
That's really sweet. It's something I will remain now. I must share it.
New, yeah.
please,
I
please
didn't
tell
know
your
this.
father. Yeah.
I
Yes,
will.
So
that's a
that's how
lovely
it
story.
happened. So I said,
How
all
sweet.
right, we
Such a
make the
lovely,
digital,
warm story.
but we are boring and as serious and as sort of. I mean, we can delay things. We can sit on a story unless we are sure. If we make a mistake, it has to be truly a genuine mistake, not for want of trying.
I hope you are equally forgiving to Priyanka, Sushmita, and me till you decide to be a journalist and keep writing about us.
You guys are the future. I better be on your good side now.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I said you use the same formula for us,
Oh,
but we can
absolutely,
also
absolutely.
sometimes make mistakes. So if you're
You know,
forgiving to yourself and to the print once in a while, you can be
yes,
forgiving to three of
absolutely,
us. I'm only asking for
absolutely.
rights for three
Yes,
of us, not for everybody.
yes,
Only three of us.
absolutely. I think
You can hammer the rest.
even if Meenakshi Lekhi was here, she's my MP. I better be nice.
No,
Uh,
but Meenakshi is
so
a friend, so I don't
I
mind
know.
the
So,
foursome, just the
so,
four of
so,
us.
You
so
can
we'll
pick
apply
the
the same
first.
principle.
Yes, thank you. And I hope this is recorded, Sushmita, Priyanka, and I'll send the link to even Meenakshi. So we are safe to do anything now. Let's
Yeah,
go for
yeah.
it.
Absolutely, absolutely,
Yes,
yes.
yes. Yes, I think today, Shekharji, you've cut the clutter and you've spoken off the cuff, and we've all walked the talk with you. So I think we're all good. So moving forward, I just had a question for my three empowered ladies on screen. It's been so impressive to hear all your work. So what do you have to say to all the young women who are watching us today, or women who are maybe a little older? Why should they join politics? How can they do their bit at social service? What do you suggest we do? You have a
I'm
largely
going to
female audience
I'm going to
watching you
flip the
today.
game. I'm flipping the game and we start from the youngest, which is Priyanka.
Actually,
Mr.
Supriya
Gupta
is
has
the right
bullied me
one
too
to.
much.
Supriya is the right person to guide people because she's always there for me whenever I had problems. So she has been a great
That's
guide
sweet.
through it all. No, yes, you have been. So what I just say is that when you enter the space, you also know the uncertainty that comes with the space. All you have to do is be totally committed to it and totally understand that there is no place for giving up. You do not give up. You continue to, put your chin up, continue for another day. There are highs, there are lows. It happens in every workspace. It could be happen in yours
Absolutely.
too. But you're in it. When you're in it, you give it your wholehearted commitment and do not give up. That is all I can say.
Sushmita, what about you?
Well, I have to tell the women who are listening to us today that there is no denying that if you're a woman, every space is different. It's not going to be the
Yes.
same to like it's for a
Correct.
man.
Correct.
But I
Correct.
can say it with conviction and from my experience that politics is as tough, as challenging as any other politics. So you
True.
don't have to fear it. If you think you have the conviction and the mettle to fly a plane, to become a doctor, to become an engineer, then you have it and you to get into politics. So don't fear it. Go step in.
Supriya ji?
It's like having two. Sushmita is one of top-notch lawyers and a fabulous parliamentarian, and now heads the country's Mahila. So see, we can always multitask. I'm not running the men down,
Absolutely.
but I must say one quality which we have is we are slightly better at multitasking than the other gender.
True.
Anyway, that's on a lighter note. But on a serious note, I think every citizen, man, woman, or a TG, I think politics is something which India breathes, eats, thing. It's like cricket and politics are two things India loves. So why would you not want to be a part of that system? You don't have to stay at a distance, and it's nothing right or wrong about every profession. There's always a bad apple in every profession. So why only we are looked at it badly? That politics is
Correct.
for only for different or dirty people. I think you must all do, and it's about nation building. You want to build your nation, come and join politics and make a difference.
Very true. Because our figures are quite dismal about women in politics as compared to even, I think, Rwanda and Pakistan. They're much lower than even those countries, right? So I think we all need to up our game now for sure.
Yeah, we are most welcome to join Mahavikas Aghadi.
I'm there. So on that note, I'm going to ask my Vice President to join us. Samatadi, can you join us, please?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks to Supriya ji, Sushmita and Priyanka for your dedicated effort and your strong voice to protect the interest of our country. Thanks to Shekhar Gupta for your very well moderated session. Thanks for your time. Thanks to our members, online viewers, and the media for support. Now, Dia will conclude. Thank you.
Thank you all. And thank you, Shekhar ji, for steering the conversations so brilliantly. And as promised, we will be sharing the subscription link for the print with all our members immediately after this session to facilitate their individual registration for their share of free, fair, and trusted journalism. And thank you so much, Supriya ji, Sushmita ji, and Priyanka ji, for showing us the way forward for women in any and every walk of life. And members, as Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who is the Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States, who we recently lost in 2020, has said, women belong in all places where decisions are being made. So we must remember that we each deserve a seat at the table. So don't wait for permissions. And if you are not given a seat at your table, carry a folding chair. And on that empowering note, I want to thank you all once again for your time. Have a safe weekend, and we will see you soon on another webinar. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks, Shekhar.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all. And I'm
Bye,
sorry I was
ladies.
a couple of breaks. Thank you.